Hello everybody, welcome back to another Monday night business live stream. Looking forward to getting on today's topic. And today's topic is what, Jessica?
We are talking about starting a blacksmithing business from scratch or from ground zero.
Yep, ground zero or absolutely nothing. So this ought to be interesting. And hopefully you guys will enjoy the topic of this evening.
Yeah, we've been requested this several times by viewers, and as most of you know, we do our 3 at 3's business chat, and that comes out every day. And so perhaps there's some of you out there that are blacksmithing as a hobby right now, but you'd like to make a little cash from it. And so, or turn it into a full-time career even. And so that's what today's stream will be about. It'll kind of talk you through, if you're starting with no experience or no knowledge at all, how you could work your way into the marketplace.
Yeah. So, yep. Hi, Susan Ellis. Good to have you here. Hopefully everything's going well. For anybody who's in the stream, hopefully you guys can let us know if we're coming in loud and clear and picture is good and all that good stuff. Just let us know.
Trying to set it from top chat to all chat, but
having an issue there, huh?
Yeah, it's been a little glitchy.
Okay. So, all right. Well, just let us know if you all have got us coming in loud and clear. That would be good.
Yes, I would.
Not seeing it.
So we have Susan Ellis and Ed Gray Wolf here so far.
So far. 2 people. So how did everybody survive the heat today?
It's been a warm one.
Yep, it's been one more one. So I had to do some upgrades to the coal forge today. I got some parts and things that I'm trying to get welded up on that wrought iron hammer, and so I'm going to be switching over to doing a temporary setup where I'm using coke in the forge instead of coal, and so therefore I had to go out and get a blower to take and do a little bit of a blower assist on it. So we'll see how it goes. I also got quite a few other big jobs coming up with a lot of big stuff, a lot of big iron work that I got to fit through the forge. And it'd just be a little handier to have the electric blower. So that's what I spent my day doing, spending money.
Yeah.
Spending money.
Running some errands. Let's see here for the Honor Forge. Hi, archaeologists lament. Why is the history of specific can openers so hard to find reliable sources? I guess no one particularly made it a point to record the history of can openers. So.
Yeah. Just look at it this way. You could be the first. There we go. So, all right, good. Let's see here. I'm hearing a bit of a windy noise in your mic. The windiness is probably the laptop's blower running, or whatever, the little fan for the laptop. That's probably what you're getting there.
I always moved over there, but I don't know if it helped that much.
Yeah, probably not. It's just going to move it closer to the outlet of the windy noise. So.
Yeah.
Yep, definitely got some cool big stuff coming along. We'll have to see how that goes. Yep, also part of the reason why I had to get the blower is I'm building a coke forge for an upcoming demonstration that I'll be doing up at the up at RABA's conference here, and we're just about a month out from that, huh?
Yes, we are.
It's July 14th and 15th.
Yes. Yeah. If you want, I could show them where they could access that information from our website while people are kind of funneling in.
Yeah.
Or I could save it for later on. However.
Yeah. If anybody's got interest in that, we'll do it a little later on.
Okay.
So.
Yep.
Yep.
Gray Wolf says, used a gas forge to make a couple of blades, snapped one to look at the grain and cross-section. Shape looks good.
Cool. Good.
Snapping it on purpose.
Snapping on purpose. Braver man than me. So, all right. So to get into more specifically what our topic point is tonight, unless you guys have any specific related business questions for us, which we're more than happy to answer for you. Getting on the subject about, starting from nothing, basically, starting from scratch. sometimes it's, there's going to be a lot of questions along the way. Okay, really, how far am I willing to take this thing? Is this thing going to become my day job? If it does become my day job, how much does that pay? What do I do for health care? Things like that. There's so much stuff that comes into mind all of a sudden, and a lot of that can take and be kind of discouraging at first. And the first encouraging point that I like to point out here is you do not need to have all the answers figured out in order to just start. So much of what you can do while you're working another job. Every last one of us have free time some point in time in our day, and you could be applying that towards your business of some kind if you really want to take and work towards your business. So that is the first point of encouragement. Like, I would like to encourage you is stop wasting your time. Stop watching your Netflix and your YouTubes and your how-to videos and all this and that, and business entrepreneurship and things like that, which, we love that you watch our videos, but at some point you have to pull the trigger on it. You have to get out there in the real world and start making something of your business and stop conceptualizing it.
Yeah.
You can conceptualize the hell out of something, and it'll just still be a concept when you're done with it.
Right. If you, like you say, like you could write yourself 100 steps on to get to where you want to be, but then if you go that far, you just look at this overwhelming list and like, how am I ever going to get to step 99? And it can be overwhelming if you overthink it or overplan it too much.
We had some big news, huh?
Yep. For the Honor Forge said, so big news for me. I was at a local run fair with my kids yesterday and networked a bit. Found that another fair needs a blacksmith for 6 weekends starting in like 3 weeks. They want me.
Awesome. Awesome for the Honor Forge. That is awesome.
That's cool. How'd it go with your kids, by the way, being along with you?
Yeah. Let us know.
Let's see. Also, Susan Ellis had a question. How did you decide how much to price your eBay items that you sold? So when we did eBay, there's a feature up at the search bar at the top where you type in the item you're searching for. If you press the advanced search settings, you can check mark completed and sold listings. If you just check mark the completed listings for that item, it'll show you everything, and it'll show you it'll show you all the past items that had ended. And so if it's like in green, it actually sold and that was the price it sold for. If the amount was in black, it didn't sell. And so I just kind of go through and look at the previous listings and priced it accordingly. But I also did an auction style, and most of my auctions I ended on a Saturday, like a Saturday afternoon, and then I just started fairly low, at least enough to cover the shipping costs, and let people bid it up.
Yeah, and that was a lot on the eBay items. Once you get more over into the artwork things, it's really you just start charging what you need to get out of an item to make the time cost of you in the shop more reasonable.
David L. Hayter Jr., at what point would you consider yourself successful? That's a good question.
Or no, he said, what do you think you need to be considered successful? So, he rephrased it, I guess, later on down the road. So, so success can look like a lot of different things to a lot of different people. I would say a successful business is a business that has low overhead, has high profit margins, and has money left over at the end of the year, aka in which the tax man's going to try to tax. So you need to apply that back to your business, right? Or put somewhere, whether it's in your retirement or something like that. I would consider that to be a very successful business. Now, just because you hire on, some people say, well, having 1,000 employees. Well, technically, if you were to take the wage of all those 1,000 employees and calculate it all together, them collectively make way more money than the boss usually, or the CEO at that company makes on a given year. And so what that means is you have to sell indefinitely more product, You have to be able to have enough workflow for all those employees and their families, even if it's only 2 guys in a shop or 3 guys in a shop. Sometimes it's very hard to take and fill a complete day, week, month, year with all nothing but productive work for all those employees. So what that means is that's coming out of your pocketbook. Ultimately. Now, you may not have to do things like grinding or something, or you may not have to do all the TIG welding anymore and somebody else can, and you can have an increase in productivity in the shop, but that comes at a cost of your pocketbook. And so if you can manage that, if you have 50 employees or 1,000 employees and you have a low overhead, high profit margin with a little bit of money left in the bank, for your retirement and other business-like goals to move you ahead into the future, that is, in my definition, a successful business. Some people look at, being able to go to Tahiti and all this other stuff and blah, blah, blah. When we take family vacations, and I count ourselves as very successful business people, when we take vacations, we're still working. We don't stop. We don't stop. 24/7, we're working. We've answered people's questions at 3, 4 a.m. in the morning before. If we happen to be up that late because we're rendering videos or we're uploading something, or, we're working on, the stuff we didn't get to because I've been out in the shop all day for about 14 hours, and then I come inside and then I work again for another 5-6 hours before I go to bed, okay? And so those sort of things, we're always working, even on vacation. So we count ourselves as very successful in the respect that we have enough money left over at the end of the month, end of the day, to be able to apply it to our business or apply it to our life. Our lifestyle. We also have a very low overhead business, which is kind of key. It's good not to get yourself in just a ton of debt. Some people, they have no other really option, otherwise it would be a very slow build to ever get into this. But the debt thing and the debt cycle, it's a very tough thing to break free of, especially when you're beginning in a burgeoning business. A lot of them fail. A lot of businesses fail when you take money from the bank that you don't have, basically. So that is the definition of a successful business, in my opinion. Now, whether I'm in Tahiti and I'm working on a laptop and figuring out whatever and this and that, or I'm teaching, or I'm explaining something to somebody, or I'm networking with a possible client, that's a completely, that's another thing all entirely. But that classic mentality, you think if you're a successful business person, you've got the yacht and you've got the, you've got the 4 vacation homes, and there's certainly people out there like that have more money than they can deal with. But.
And I think you kind of stated the answer in itself just there. You said, my idea of success is, such and such. So, I mean, technically it really is individualized per person what you see as successful. So perhaps for you bringing in, several $100s a month from your blacksmithing, you would consider yourself successful. Perhaps for another person that means bringing in $10,000 or maybe even $50,000. For some people it'll just be bringing in enough work for themselves. For other people it'll be having a certain amount of employees. Ideally, to be successful, they see themselves with 10, 20, or 30 employees, or whatever amount. So, I mean, it really comes down to defining success for yourself. Yeah.
And, like I said, some people it's having the yacht, it's having the yacht and the 4 vacation homes, and be prepared to work tirelessly and not have much family life or home life or anything else like that. So, success, like I said, success in our business, and that's kind of on the monetary side of things. Success as far as on a personal level, success for me is being able to spend time with my kids, going on little camping trips or vacations with Jess. And when I say vacations, that's usually working vacations, but we get the privilege of being able to go midweek when other people have to work a day job, and so I count every day as kind of like a vacation with that. Up until just a week before Father's Day, I didn't even know it was Father's Day. I didn't even remember. Memorial Day, I'm like, oh, is it Memorial Day weekend? Right. Like I had I had this thing of, because again, those things don't necessarily, I wouldn't say that they don't matter to me. I mean, they're an important holiday, but not in the same general sense as like a 9 to 5 worker. Somebody who's waiting for the weekend, right? Mm-hmm. Waiting for the weekend. Ooh, I get a 3-day weekend. I don't get 3-day weekends. I work 6 days a week. Yep. So those things I don't value as much, I guess you would say, the type things like that. But, again, that comes from the other times I can go take off midweek and take 3-4 days off in a week, or I could take 2 weeks off if I wanted to at any point. Right. As long as we're financially set and there's a break between orders.
Right. Yeah, it does take that. It takes that level of determination. Like, okay, I'm gonna put aside the work for today and go and do something, which we did a couple of weeks ago. We took the kids to the aquarium for the day, something we've been wanting to do for quite a while, and had fun. But, we were answering emails in the car though.
Yeah, we were answering emails on our hour drive back from the Newport Aquarium down in Cincinnati. We were just answering emails as we go, ones that we hadn't got to in a couple weeks. So. Yep. Brian Neely, couple kayaks. I'm with you on that one. A yacht's just expensive.
Granddad's Forge. I would consider myself successful when bills are paid and breaking a hair above even.
Yep, that's good. David Help Jr. Hater.
I can understand that perfectly. For me, it's being able to provide shelter, protect, and at the end of it have something to put back for the next set of circumstances. Yep,
and that's a great way of looking at it. And that stops you from chasing, that stops you from always chasing the next big thing. There's always going to be opportunity that knocks on your door, but not every opportunity is the right opportunity for you. I could certainly say yes to more work. This was probably a year and a half ago. I had a guy that wanted me to do silver work for him. Very expensive, very elaborate silver. Solid sterling silverware flat sets, right? And basically he wanted me to be a silversmith, pretty much, for him. He really digged all my ironwork and, just thought that it would be great. He wanted to hire and contract me exclusively to be one of his silversmiths. He's like, I think you got all the right stuff to do that. And it would have been a great opportunity, and it would have meant about $35,000 to me. And that would have been probably in the tunes of about $35,000 every quarter or so. So every 3 months. Every 3 months I'd make about another $35,000. And basically it just was not a good fit for me. It was too far outside the realm of what I do. And at that time, it didn't make sense to leave a thriving business that we were already running, and we are still running to this day, to switch everything I do over into silverware. When it came to that, and it just wasn't something that I really felt drawn to. And so there's that money, right? Like, so if I was only in it for the money, I would have went after that and then tried to figure out how I could have kept up the other business too, and it would have put a big relational strain on us because I wouldn't be around. Lots riding on that. And both with Jess and the kids and things like that. And so, again, I walked away from it, turned that down. It just wasn't fitting for me. Great opportunity, wonderful opportunity to make quite a bit of money, but just wasn't right for me at that point in time. So having a good definition of your success and the way that I define success, it stops you from chasing that next big thing, that next big dollar. Whoever waves the magical carrot in front of your face, okay, well, I said I wouldn't steal from nobody, but if a big enough carrot came along, buddy, you're getting robbed, right? Like, it stops you from doing that. And it's really freeing to know how far you're willing to go for finances or no finances.
Yeah, definitely. It's like you say, you'll sometimes get choices or opportunities that present themselves, but if it doesn't line up with your goals, you know, it's sometimes the best option is just to say no to it because it doesn't take you where you want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm reading everybody's funny little jokes from the comment section down there. Oh, Jeff Samling, I realized this year my birthday was 2 weeks after I thought about it. Yeah, life can get busy like that. That's for sure. Oh, and then Spencer Coots. Mm-hmm. What website building platform did we use?
Yes, we use Weebly. I believe I did do a video on how to start a basic Weebly page, and I believe there's a link to there, and it might even be a discount code. So if you're interested, you could get it. They have a basic one that's free, and then if you want to do the advanced features like selling your own items on the website, then you have to get like a pay a monthly or yearly subscription. So yeah. And
apparently we missed Penny Brown, but hello Penny Brown and hello Herb Page. Good to see you in the house. And Spencer Coots and Brian Neely. We didn't say hi to you guys yet, so thank you all for being here. Yeah, so we'll get back on topic. Once again, if you have any questions for us about business or anything while we go along, just want to chat us up or whatever, make sure to continue to chat in the comment section. And if you need something specifically from us, put a little hashtag mark by Roy or Jessica, whoever you're wanting the comment to be for. Yeah, yep, definitely. Yeah. So, go ahead. You got one? Okay. No, go ahead. I was going to say, yeah, so when you're first looking at starting a blacksmithing business of some sort, the very basic of the necessities is that you're going to need something to sell. So that could be simple items even at the beginning. It could be bottle openers. You could have a bunch of different variations on bottle openers, which, by the way, I put some links down in the description if you're kind of curious how to make a certain type of bottle opener or just to get an idea of that. Roy's done a bunch of bottle opener videos before, so I made sure to include those there as examples. Probably more than I should for YouTube. I just put, who needs another bottle opener video? But yeah, but there's all kinds of things. But yeah, you're going to need a selection of some sort of items to sell. So whether that's going to be that you're selling online or you're selling locally, you'll want to start creating that stockpile of items so that you'll have your things ready to sell when you move on to the next step. Yeah. Okay. What's up there? Nothing. Granddad's Forge? Yeah, sure. She send us an email. We'll keep an eye out for it. Yep. Definitely. Clay Sap. Clay Sap Deep Iron Forge. Hello. Good to have you on the stream, sir. Hello. I'm in a situation now where I've got to put all my eggs in one basket. It seems. Thank you all for what you share. You're very, very welcome. So, Corey Shire, hello. Good to have you. Andrew James, good to have you here. Thank you all for being here. So, all right. So, yeah. So, getting back again to the the main topic of the evening of starting with absolutely nothing. So one of my next pieces of advice for you when you're starting from absolutely ground zero is do not get hung up on your tooling. So that is a big hang up for a lot of people. You know, you say, oh, I could do that, but I would need this. No, you think you need this, and really what you need to do is put a little sweat equity in at the anvil. So with that being said, to start a business, you can start a business with almost absolutely nothing at all. You need something, a product to offer. You need a product to offer. If you don't have a product to offer, you're not a business. You're not a business. You're not retail, you're not wholesale, you're not a business at that point in time. You have a product to offer. So whether that's you're buying and reselling things, whether you're making things, whether you're selling to wholesalers, you're doing craft shows, you're just online. Selling online or selling in person, you got a retail space, you name it, you're a door-to-door salesman, you're selling vacuum cleaners. You're not a business unless you have a product to sell. So what that means is you can start right now with the equipment that you have. So say you want to be a bladesmith, right? And like that's the thing you want to sell, right? You want to be the world's best bladesmith, and you want to sell the most high-end elitist knives and get paid bajillions of dollars for your work, right? But you've never once even hammered a taper on the end of a bar. You need to start there. Mm-hmm. So, well, I can't do that. I don't have an anvil. There's plenty of guys smithing on railroad track anvils. There's plenty of guys smithing with, just a sledgehammer stuck in the dirt, right? Mm-hmm. There's plenty of guys making a go of it. Everybody from real young guys to old guys to young women to old women to you name it, got the blacksmith bug and are starting somewhere. So the same enthusiasm that you can hit this craft with as a hobby, you can hit the same amount of enthusiasm for a business. Maybe you're not up to having fantastic knives that everybody and their brother is just overjoyed with wanting to buy from you. But maybe you can make a really mean looking nail though that would look great in somebody's boards or shelving bracket that you just made them, right? And you could actually do that at a little small tiny anvil, right? With very few tools. Stuff you can just pick up for a few dollars, right? So you can start somewhere. Many people don't know this, and I'll just share you a little story. So I missed a lot of meals when I was dating Jessica in order to save up to buy her a wedding ring. A lot of meals. A lot of meals, okay? And then my dinners consisted of one of those little 49-cent bean and cheese burritos. I had like a little mini fridge just stocked up full of these things, right? And like that was my dietary goals, I mean, I had lunch. I had lunch. I didn't eat breakfast. I had lunch, usually at like a McDonald's. It was like a quick dollar menu item type thing when I was working. And dinner, baby. Bean and cheese burrito. Or maybe a couple of those if I was feeling real spicy, right? I'd get me 2 of those things. But it required sacrifice. I put my money where my mouth was, right? I wanted to get her a ring. I didn't want to get her just, a Cracker Jack box ring. I wanted to get her a nice ring. Show off the ring.
I will.
It's small, it's delicate, but it looks good. It looks good on her hand. She has nice slender fingers and stuff. I didn't want this big rock on there. And let's be honest, I couldn't afford one. Even if I wanted one on there, it would be made of plastic. Otherwise, but that's a real diamond. So I worked my tail off, and for probably, I would say, a good 4 months, that was my dietary consumption there. Not good on your health, right? Okay, and so it cost me something. It's because I was passionate about that thing. So if you're passionate about business, it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you time, it's going to cost you energy, and it's going to cost you tooling. You are going to have to buy something at some point in time. Right. Unless you're living in an area where you just kick iron blooms around all day long, or you live in a proverbial scrap pile where you never have to worry about it and you can find anything and make it into a hammer, you're going to have to buy a hammer at some point in time. You don't have to buy the nicest hammer. You can buy a hammer from garage sales for 50 cents, but it still costs you something. Sometimes you can get tools for free, but most of the times, not. You're going to have to pay for the things that you care about. So if you want to get into this, maybe the railroad track handle. You pick one up, say $25, right? Bam, out the door. No, you're not forging no swords yet with that, but you're not ready for that type of cost of doing business yet.
Yep.
You're not. Start making hooks. Start making small stuff. Start making those small little things that, other people, love to hang in their house, but again, maybe they don't have the high-end dollar either where they can pay you $1 bajillion for one of your knives. Start there.
Maybe I should. I didn't think about this. Maybe I should do it where we can show your first shop. I know we did a video on it, but then also show some of your first items.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I don't know if we could pull that up or not.
I think I could. I'll just have to fidget around here for a minute.
Okay. I want to acknowledge.
Sure.
Want to acknowledge Graham real quick. So, Jeff Sandling said, "Roy, ramen noodles, lots of carbs there." So. Graham Pepper, thank you, sir, for the $5 super chat. We really do appreciate you. And make sure everybody give him a hand clap and say hello to him in the comment section down below. And he said, sorry I'm late, kids. Athletics carnival today, so extra work driving the bus. Cool. So.
I remember having those when I was in school, too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. They have little carnivals to raise money for different things.
Yep. Her page, now you can make her a ring. Yeah, I could. So
For the Honor Forge says, I started my business with PVC bows and swords. Got me started business-wise to get me closer to where I wanted to be.
Yep.
Exactly, yeah. We just started selling, we never intentionally planned on opening a blacksmithing business at all. Roy did the HVAC. I got interested in selling stuff on eBay because I was a stay-at-home wife and didn't have anything to do. So that's kind of what got us into selling online. But I mean, yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be forged items if you're just learning the skills for that. You could sell other things if you already have, like Mr. Coffee, he has skills at painting. He's a good painter. And so he incorporates that into his online store.
Yeah, so, you have to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere, and sometimes, what you want to do is over here, and what you are able to afford to do is over here. But don't let that discourage you. That means you just haven't made the money to connect those two goals yet. But you will. But you got to start. So you have to start. So start making the little small split crosses, or I think they make them, troll crosses and things. They make all sorts of stuff. So maybe you're not into the whole Christianity thing. That's cool. Your clients may be. So, don't be so stiff-necked about it. When you can whip a couple of those out, icicles, Christmas ornaments come Christmas time.
They're scrolled-up swirls.
Little scrolled-up swirls, bottle openers, scads of different things that you can make on just a small little railroad track anvil and a few pieces of metal and things like that, right? You can really go all out at still starting a business. And it may seem like there's 5,000 other people all doing the same thing, but we live on a planet with a lot of people. So there's a ton of fish in the sea. And blacksmiths don't even represent not even 1/100th of a percent of that. We don't antiquate to that many people in the entire world
population,
right? World population. So any one of those people, or any combination of those people, or number of those people could be a buyer, a particular buyer for you. They just have to find you. So, don't be afraid to just get started. Start small. It's a great thing. And then we're going to get on to, after we, Jessica looks like she wants to go doing some moving around, or what?
Oh, yeah, I can get into that. It'll take me a minute to set that.
Okay, it'll take you a minute, so can I keep talking?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so now we'll go into, you're starting, you have your railroad track anvil, you have your ball peen hammer, your cross peen hammer, maybe you've got a selection of visa grips, right, to take and clip onto your metalwork, right, and things are going along, it's rocky, it's rough, but you're getting started, right? The next big thing that's going to take and help you is education. So that is watching and actually really paying attention to all of the information you can resource about doing blacksmithing, about learning new techniques. Go to classes, pay for workshops. Yes, you're going to have to pay an instructor to take his time to teach you the things he knows, but it can cut years off your learning curve. Absolute years off your learning curve. So, again, you have to pay to play the game here. You don't get to watch a 60-inch big screen TV without buying the 60-inch big screen TV.
Mm-hmm.
Or putting it on payments or on the credit card and using somebody else's money for it. But somebody paid for that. Somebody sacrificed. Somebody put money out for that in order for you to have the enjoyment of looking at a 60-inch big screen TV. So you're going to have to put that cost out on your education as well. You'll have to put that cost out on the education of using that education as soon as you get back. Because it doesn't do you much good if you're at the level of making bottle openers and then you jump in on a master swordsmith class. That's not going to be as beneficial to you, because he's going to show you things like, hey, you guys need to make, you need a salt bath, and you need this, and you need that, and you need an even heat, and you need this, and you need all this type stuff to be a sword maker, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of money. That's a lot of cost that maybe you weren't anticipating at first. Maybe it might be good to start with something that's a little shorter and sharp and pointy.
Yeah.
And not so long, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then slowly building it to there. Oh gosh. Are you showing that yet?
No, it's not showing yet.
Oh, it's not showing yet?
It's just pulling it up. I was gonna say, I don't have our old photographs on this computer.
Oh
so
no, the shame. The shame of it all. So, what's out there?
Block that one.
Yep.
Alright. Oh yeah, just go easy on the keyboard. No, I'm good. I'm only at 49%.
Yeah.
So our computer has not been acting up lately, so. But thank you for the reminder.
BST Forge. Hey Jess and Roy, are you planning on upgrading to the premium plan on Etsy?
I still, I believe it was for the Honor Forge asked on Friday's live stream if I'm gonna do any videos on the updates on Etsy. It's something I need to research more before I give out any information on that, so I'm not sure yet. I've got to read into it more. Kind of been working on a few other projects and haven't had a whole lot of time currently to dedicate into Etsy stuff other than just I just keep renewing our listings on a regular basis. And
sometimes sometimes updates to websites are not actually necessarily that great for you as well. So we'd like to read through a lot of that stuff before we update the different things. So we haven't been paying much attention, I guess you would say, to Etsy just yet. He did say it's slowing down, so the stream said go easy on the keyboard.
Oh, okay.
Oh. All right, thank you, Graham, for that. So,
David, on the topic of spending money to make money, i.e. buying tools, where would you suggest getting metal, specifically copper, for the utensils behind you?
Let's see here. So, my source that I've gotten copper from, excuse me, is Millennium Metals. That's a place. They are here in Ohio. The other place I get them from is at the scrapyard in Dayton. And then you can also get copper like what I've got back here at Alro Steel. So I don't really get them online. I know that there's some different online resources that you can get metals. Of course, they're going to be fairly expensive. I would stray away from eBay for picking up metals because they're about 3 times the cost usually. Because somebody else is buying retail that somebody bought wholesale from somebody who sold it for a third of what you are now paying, basically. So they marked it up, and then the person bought it from them at retail cost, and then they mark it up double of that retail cost to you. So I'd stray away from eBay for things like metal like that. I would just do a quick Google search on copper and see who is selling it in your local area. That'd be the best. If it doesn't have to be shipped, that's usually the best.
Micah Darwin asks, what would you say to someone who wants to tell people that they are self-taught? Meaning no classes.
Meaning no classes. What would you say to someone who wants to tell people that they are self-taught? First of all, Micah Darwin, is it true? Are you all self-taught? And is that a bad thing? Secondly, if you're not self-taught, then it's not true. And so that's a bad thing. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of more clarity there. Are you self-taught? And if you're self-taught and you're feeling like you're a lesser smith because you're self-taught, let's flash back to 50 years ago. Everybody was self-taught. They didn't have the internet, right? Mm-hmm. They didn't have classes and workshops, and a lot of these craft schools have not been around but 50 years, right? They got founded by people who were picking up the art of blacksmithing by like 2 people.
Yeah.
And most, whether people know this or not, most of all the blacksmithing that has been taught got started off of Francis Whitaker here in America. Most of all the blacksmithing that in most classes, most of these workshops and all these little folk schools and things like that, you can go get an education in blacksmithing now, were all started by Francis Whitaker and his trainees, his apprentices, and the people that got the chance to apprentice underneath him or work for him for a period of time and things like that. So, we fail to realize that 50 years ago, this wasn't even a thing. This wasn't even a thing then. So everyone was self-taught back then. And if you can be self-taught and get to the level of like Francis Whitaker, right? Or his master, which was... now his name's gonna slip. Why not? Is it
Samuel Yellen?
Yeah, Samuel Yellen. Sorry. I don't know how I could slip that one. Samuel Yellen. If you can get to that and being self-taught, you're doing great. So there's no need in feeling the pride. I've said on multiple times, if you look at it, it's not always the person that is the most educated that can do. If you look across, somebody has a college education in blacksmithing. Well, that's great and all, but I've stood myself at an anvil for 12 hours a day for the last 6 years of my life. I've had 10 years, a decade dedication to the craft. Their 4 years in college doesn't undo that 10 years. Mm-hmm. Doesn't do the last 6 years, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. It doesn't undo that, right? Yeah. That doesn't do that. So, again, is that better or is it worse? No. Maybe if I went to college and then I applied everything I learned at college for those last 6 years, I might be even way further along. So education is always a good thing. So David Burtson said, I thought it was a question mark, is it still self-taught if you use YouTube? LOL.
You do not.
Technically, I don't think it is. Because, again, there's more information for you to learn. Self-taught kind of is applicable to somebody who is, they think they're the only surviving blacksmith on the face of this earth, and everything they've learned, they came up with somehow, mm-hmm. right? And in that case, blacksmithing is very much, it's learned. And usually there's blacksmithing club they've been to, or they've got some sort of education, even a horrible one by watching Forged in Fire, and and so therefore they go out and burn down 3 city blocks, right? And they're self-taught. So there's the goods and bads of that statement there.
Troy Williams says, I love your channel and you guys are inspiring. I want to start my own business doing blacksmithing and metalworking, but I'm scared to take the leap. Got any advice or tips to overcome that fear?
Got any advice and tips to overcome that fear? Let's see here, David Burnson. It was rhetorical. I don't know. Let's see here. So, advice for overcoming, that fear to take that first step. Just do. There isn't really anything, like when you're starting a business. So say when you're just starting a new business, there's all unknowns. Everything's an unknown. You know, for us, our next month, our next week, our next day is an unknown. And even people who have a 9-to-5 job that think they've got a cushy position, that they have a known, they could walk in tomorrow and been given walk-in papers saying, go home, we don't need you no longer. And boom, their fancy career, their 401k, their everything they had, everything they wrapped up in the business for 35 years, and they thought they were on the in group, they're on the out group now. Just in an instant like that.
Yeah.
You know, with no retribution, no nothing. And so when it comes to doing business or a hobby or a blacksmithing or this or that, it's just start. That's your key word there, just start. If you have kind of like those butterflies in your stomach, ooh, I don't know if, like, once this metal's hot, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Pull it out of the fire and do something with it. I don't care if you just slap it at the anvil, right? Or if you wail on it, or you stick it in a vise and you bend it, you know, or something like that. That in of itself is blacksmithing. That's you starting to manipulate metal with fire, right? Heat, flame, force, right? Energy. You're starting to manipulate that, and that gets you kind of over that fear of what's it going to be like. Yep.
Also, Troy, I would say that my advice for overcoming that fear of just getting started selling your ironwork is that don't put so much pressure on yourself that it has to be like your full-time income and the next, like, by like next month, or like a really short-term goal. But just start taking small steps towards it. So make a few items, and then, you know, either post them for sale on Etsy or stock up on a few things and then try selling them somewhere. And just, and, you know, also, instead of having necessarily a fear, you can also treat those, the symptoms that you feel, kind of a nervousness, you can almost treat that as excitement too, because you get those same physical symptoms when you're excited, just like you do when you're afraid. So that's another little mental, like a little mental twist you can put on it, so that you're not necessarily thinking of it that you're afraid to start doing it, but that you're excited to start doing it too.
Yep. Hopefully that helps. Sorry, I laughed at David's quote there. The quote of the day, Roy Adams. Get an education from Forge and Fire, burn down 3 city blocks. That's not going on a t-shirt there, no. Spencer Coots. So.
Sounds like a liability issue there.
Yeah.
Jeff is Sandling used to say I'm self-taught, now I say I'm Roy Adams taught.
That'll get you in trouble, Jeff Sandling. Saying you're Roy Adams taught. Ooh, that's a good one. So about as bad as Forge and Fire taught. No.
Micah Darwin asked, has blacksmithing led to any good ministry opportunities?
Yes, it has. You know, when I look at what I do, you know, as far as the ministry side of things, for me, it is basically, I feel like when I get on camera and when I share something, like on a 3 Minutes at 3, or when I just do like a chat about something, or a Roy rant, I usually unpack for you basically my ministry. And that ministry is to uplift and encourage other smiths, and, you know, to live out a genuine and authentic life in front of people. You know, I am a Christian, proud of it, proud to the core, but I am not Christ, right? So, you know, and so therefore I have my faults, and I have my weaknesses, and I have my dirty laundry, and I have my points in my history that I'm not proud of, right? And I have things that I am proud of, and I'm darn proud of them. And, you know, for me, that is my ministry, is to take and show that, you know, you don't have to overthink it. You know, here I am, as bold and brazen as I am, with the audacity to name my business Christ-Centered Ironworks. And you got people who say, oh, why do you name your business Christ-Centered Ironworks? You know, or wow, you're not a good representation of God. And it's like, well, you know, that's kind of interesting. It's a bit kind of oxymoronic, if you will. You know, it's a...
Yeah, there's been all kinds of comments.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things like that come out. And really, I just want to take and put a little bit of light into somebody's day, every day, if I can. And that's what our channel's about, you know, and that's what we're really about. Now, we don't that we don't rehearse the Bible on the channel. You know, we're not trying to beat anybody over with our faith or our religion or this or that for anybody. But, you know, if you want to know what it is that a Christian looks like, well, you're looking at one. You know, someone who's in need of help, right?
Yeah.
Lots of it. And the only difference is I'm not afraid to get out from under that fake face, that veil that a lot of people put up, a lot of those walls, you know, where, how you doing today, Roy? I'm fine. Everybody's fine. We're all great, you know, and meanwhile, you know, Jessica's beating me every evening, you know.
What? It's completely random.
I just had to throw her off canter there for a second, you know. But no, I mean, we all do that. And so for me, the ministry is to, you know, live my life very authentically, you know, and you get to see my ups and you get to see my downs and you get to see my joys and you get to see my struggles. And, you know, because I'm a real human being just like you. And if that touches somebody and if that inspires somebody to know God or know Christ a little bit more than I do, then that's great. You know, and I can say we've had a few small parts in that for a few people, and we are really humbled by that.
Definitely. David Burson, I think it's hilarious because the two blacksmiths I follow the most are you and Trent Ty. Christ-centered ironworks and purgatory ironworks. Irony. Yeah.
You real? Yeah. I think we got everybody.
Okay, we're caught up on that.
Yep. You're welcome, Micah Darwin. So, you know, it's an interesting subject, and it can always be a touch and go subject whenever you talk about sharing your faith anymore, because people feel like, oh, he's trying to sell you on it or something, you know, or oh, he's trying to push that off on you. And it's just really not. I have mass respect for other beliefs and other belief systems, and, you know, I'm not so arrogant to think that my way is the only way, and it's not really my way, you know, it's just kind of my belief system. But I'm not going to tear people down or anything else like that. I just choose to be an authentic person and be real with you, and if that's not somebody's flavor of the day, well, mosey on to another channel. It really won't make me lose any sleep at night. So
Backwoods Ray says, hello you two, love your 3 at 3 videos, y'all are awesome, and the blacksmithing too, lol.
well, I'm glad the blacksmithing was thrown in there at the end. So, hello Backwoods Raised. Good to have you as part of the channel. Apparently somebody got somebody.
Yeah.
They brought down the Bahnhammer.
I was gonna say, I can always block if necessary.
Who knows?
Yeah. Anyway, either YouTube's promoting us in a new way, or I don't know, a link got shared somewhere with, I guess, a group that's not agreeable tonight, but oh well, that's what we got moderators for. So
thank you for the moderators.
Yep.
Yep.
David asked, do you ever watch any of Trent and Ty's videos? If so, any thoughts, positive and negative?
Yeah, so I do watch Trent Ty's videos from time to time. So positive thoughts, I love the dude's voice. Man, I wish I had a voice like Trent's voice. You know, I don't know, he's got that Southern Belle kind of voice going on. I like it. You know, a great showman when it comes to that. Downsides or negative thoughts is sometimes he does things that are fairly childish in the forge, like pranks and practical jokes. And I am not a joker when it comes to the shop. I take blacksmithing very seriously, and I take health and safety very seriously. So for me, you know, any channel that gets so cocky, if you will, or, you know, they get so comfortable in what they're doing that they can start fooling around in the shop and start fooling around in the forge, that's a no-go point for me. So I can't jive with that. But I've been watching Purgatory Ironworks from long before I ever got on YouTube to do this as a YouTube thing. So there's that. Have what you will. I think he is a great smith. I think he's got a lot of good information for people, and he certainly works hard at his channel. I just don't appreciate the gags and kind of some of the stuff that he did a while back. He did some pranks on some of his coworkers while they were grinding something on a belt sander and stuff like that. That type of stuff can go so wrong. It's meant to be in jest, but it can go so wrong so very quickly, and somebody end up losing a digit or something like that. No one will be laughing a long time from then. So
right. Go up just a hair here. David Burson said, even as a non-believer, I can appreciate your belief and see how it affects your work, and can still apply philosophy to the work without having to believe in a specific religion. Yeah, we try to keep the channel open-ended like that.
Yeah, we try to keep it open-ended for for everyone, basically. And a lot of that stems from my past. A lot of that stems from my past. I have had my share of hypocrites in my life, and where you become hypocritical in any religion or any thought process, because it doesn't have to be just a religion. It can be a whole thought process. It could be you're complete and utter sold out to science, right? But you can start to become hypocritical all of a sudden when a disaster happens and you're like, oh God, oh God, oh God, right? And so Hippocratic things can happen in multiple different forms there. But where that happens is when you are not, you're not being as open-minded as maybe you should be, and you start thinking you've got all the answers, and all other answers besides your answer is wrong. And when that happens, I think that's where the kind of hypocrisy type stuff comes rolling in. And since I've had a lot of that, I get a fair share of people who are surprised. They're surprised that they're welcomed with love and open arms on our channel. And we've had clients that are, they come right out. Well, I'm pagan or something, right? Like they come out and like, oh, I'm pagan. And I'm like, okay. And I mean that, and $1.50 will get you a cheeseburger at McDonald's. Like for me, that doesn't matter to me at all. I'm not going to sit here and try to thump you one, right? With the BIBLE. That's your choice. I mean, you're kind of making that choice. I'm making my own choices where we can be respectful individuals to one another. And, and that shocks some people sometimes. Sometimes my Christian brethren don't agree with me on that subject. But again, I've done work for thousands of people. I've done work for Muslims, and I've done work for Christians and Jewish people and Buddhists and Hindus and and atheists, and I don't know. I mean, just people. See, I don't even like putting all the classifications out there, because I see people as just people. When you come to me and you've got a question, I see you as a person. That's how I weigh you. I weigh you equal unto the respect that you give me. I give you back. That's the same thing. I give you the type of respect that I wish that you would give me, and then that's it. And so, that's kind of how I run those things. And it's amazing to me that there's some people that they'll come up and say, "Wow, you're the first nice Christian person I met." There's something wrong there. Mm-hmm. There's something wrong there. Either I'm totally wrong, or the world's totally wrong, or there is somewhere that's getting failed in society for that to happen. And so I've just made it my point not to be condemning of people, and to again keep the channel about blacksmithing, and to keep the channel open and free. And those that have a hard time with that, there's the door. it's not open for debate. It's just the way my channel is.
Mm-hmm.
So, God, sorry,
Oh,
ranting a little bit there, but
you're fine. Okay,
Yep.
just a hair here.
well, you.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Jeff Sandling had said, "What does a Christian look like? Someone in need of help." Roy, you just got yourself put in my grandpa's respect category. Was wondering how this could be better than last week.
Well, I'm glad, Jeff Sandling. Oh. Yeah, that's right. I was going to say, David Burson, you clicked down too fast. He had said, I'm the same way. You joke with me while handling power tools or hot metal, and it's time to fight. Yep, it's one of those things. It can go from just a practical gag, and before you know it, somebody's got a severed limb or thumb, or somebody might not be coming home at night. And I've seen guys too many times get really, really hurt, and I mean really, really hurt when I worked heating and air conditioning over just a joke. Over just a joke, and so it's just not worth it. So what else we got here?
Let's see. Granddad's Forge said, would setting up in a researched parking lot be just as promising as online sales under normal circumstances? So comparing like setting up in a parking lot to selling online.
So setting up in a parking lot, like as in craft fair? Is that what it's meaning?
No, remember we had somebody a little while back said they were setting up at Tractor Supply, so probably something like that.
Okay. Yeah. It could be just as promising. It really kind of depends. So whenever you're in the public eye, you are subjected to presence, stage presence. You can't, you have to engage with people. You have to be that life of the party kind of thing. And it takes a lot of energy to do that. And the better you do that, the more sales fly off the shelf for you. The worse you do that, or the person you have helping you does that, maybe there's a person they just don't want to help or be helpful to a customer. I've seen it at craft shows before. You ask some college-age gal at the booth, like, hey, how much is this? She's like, read the price. And it's like the prices are on the underside of the thing that, it's like, oh, I didn't know I couldn't touch, like, I could touch them and look them over for the price tag kind of thing. And so that kind of thing can turn people off in that market space. So, so having always that good attitude, like I said, having that kind of performance value, amplifying that, being the life of the party type deal, can help you get a lot of sales. But it's kind of like a one and done thing, usually. You'll get a few little tricklers maybe here and there where somebody will come in later on and maybe get something from you. A few business cards will transact. Mm-hmm. But online sales, it's always there. It's always working 24 hours a day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. That's what I was going to say about it too. David L. Hyder, sorry. It's not our place to judge. God in any variation will judge. Live life and love all. And as the phrase goes, treat others as you would like to be treated.
Yep. There's a few other ones.
Yeah, Mike G, is everything all right? You're going, didn't know if it was just a checkup that you guys went to the hospital for or something else.
Yep. I was talking about the firecracker there. Yeah, and then we've already answered that. Good. Where was it? Yep.
Backwoods Ray says, when are you going to go on Forged in Fire?
So, interesting thing about that. I was actually contacted from them, but I had turned it down. So, we were going to, at one time we thought we might do it, just, do it, get the views, right? Do one of those videos is kind of a common thing for guys to do, is take and say, hey, I don't, why I turned down Forged in Fire.
Okay, this really goes with our theme we were talking about earlier about making choices to line up with where you want to go.
Yeah. So let me Oh no, all is good. We toured the labor and delivery there. Okay, cool. Oh, all's good with them. So they were just touring the labor and the delivery things.
Good.
Cool.
Getting
Cool.
prepared.
Good. So to answer that question, so like with the forged and fire thing. So one, I'm not a blade maker. Two, even if I did go on there and I believe I could perform very well, it was not. I know there's 1,000 people who say, "Oh, I could win it and I could win it," and I'm not going to go. There are a lot of seriously talented people that if you were to stand me right up against them, and because they make blades all the time and I don't, they would whoop me no problem, hands down. I am horrible at grinding. I have a shaky hand when it comes to that. I do better with a file than I would with a grinder, right? And so when it comes down to that kind of thing, where I would shine is forging to finish. I could forge a blade that will kill than what some people can grind a blade that will kill, right? So, I mean, I'm good at that forge to finish type thing. I can forge exact shapes to exact specifications. So I'm good at that. That's one thing I'm good at. Put me against a guy that does it for a vocation or does it, full-time as a hobby. No, I'm probably not going to win when it comes to that circumstance. But when it was posed to me, it was for a different kind of show. It was, and I won't reveal too much about the details. I don't know if we're released off the hook there. Anyways, it was going to be for a bigger grand prize, and it was going to be a longer event than just the regular one that I was contacted about. And it did not fit the company and where we were going, because what it would have done is it would have fell in our busiest months. Took 2 weeks of 1 month and a following 2 weeks of the next month. Literally about back to back. So it would have took about a month worth out of our 2 busiest months of the year, where we make a good 85% of our income. And so that was just not acceptable on a chance. That would have been a gamble. And people say, well, look at all the exposure. For what? Knives? I don't make knives.
Right.
Vehemently against it. I don't mind if you make knives, but I don't want to. They do not fascinate me. Right? And so that's where we had to make that judgment call.
Right. There's a lot more to it than the viewers see. There is hours upon hours and days upon days that goes into the filming. So like what looks like a 2-hour time period that they filmed this whole everybody forging their blades in 2 hours, that was actually stretched across an infinite amount of time that they just they were filming individually and then compressing all this video footage to make it look seamless and stuff like that. But again, they're also trying to get views, so they're gonna if something dramatic happens, they're gonna try to emphasize that. So I'm
not that dramatic.
No.
When it comes to the shop, I'm actually very boring when I'm not on camera. I'm just as I'm more boring than I already am on camera. I am. I am. When it comes to work, no. I'd be having a coffee, man, sitting over in the corner watching everybody else, and there would be no ratings there because I'd already have my knife blade forged within 5 minutes of entering the competition. So, that'd be like, oh, I guess I should go to grinding it now because I'll need it because I suck at grinding, right? One of those sort of things. I'd be boring. I'd be boring. I can't showman off enough like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to work. I watched a couple reruns, and that made my decision that it wasn't right for Roy.
Yeah, it also came down, you actually had to display a blade of a certain length, and it came down to you're like, do I want to forge this, or do I want to forge my regular stuff?
It just made me sick. I had customer orders to work on, and I was just like, no, I can't do that. So, David Burson said, I have noticed a lot of YouTubers turn it down. Do you think potentially losing it can have negative effects on your business? Losing it can have negative effects on your business. So I believe that it can if you are an established knife maker. And I mean established as in you have a wonderful client base. And I mean a bunch of people who respect you in the knife making world, and you are, are really getting there, right? And you've been actually really being a bladesmith for the last 10, 15 years, right? And I'm not talking like, you've hammered out some boogers on some ends of bars there and they cut paper. I'm not talking that. I'm talking turning out some really wonderful examples of knives. Yeah, if you go there and you do a terrible job, it is bad press. It's bad press for your forge, especially if they highlight you out to be an idiot. If they highlight you out to be an idiot, there's nothing you can do about that. In the YouTube world, not everything, like in YouTube world, right? Like, for instance, I deal with this a little bit. Some people think I'm a complete moron when it comes to forging. Like, oh, he don't really know what he's doing. I put very basic and simple stuff. I put very basic and simple stuff in my videos because I know that is our general audience. That's our audience, and it's helping people begin blacksmithing. It's helping, we have a heart for beginners and things of that nature. If you look at my Instagram, it is, even the level of ironwork there is 1/10 of the total ironwork that I have done in the last decade of doing this. So this is, I put rudimentary things a lot. That's why I've been enjoying in the live streams doing some things that are a little more on the higher end of things, working with wrought iron, doing steel faces, and doing file work, and doing some more
my forging dimension.
My little vise. If you don't think that's tough, give it a go. Give it a go. There's a lot of forge welds. There's a lot of things have to be very specific and come out exactly right in parts and forging dimension. And it's not done yet. I still probably got another 100 hours into that thing to put in. And that'll be off-camera work. Not to mention what I'll do on-camera work for that. And so, if you're doing Forged in Fire, and you are a meticulous person, and man, you make sure everything's perfectly symmetrical, and that blade's the perfect heat treat, and this and that, and you've got like 2 minutes to get your heat treat done on your blade, right? And like now you're rushing it, and the thing cracks and snaps and falls off on the floor, or it's whatever. That doesn't forebode very well for you. Right. It always is very difficult for Forged in Fire to take and show every detail of the process. They can't show the minutia. They can only show the highlights. And so based upon how good your highlight reel is how well it'll be for your business. Because there's some guys, they walked out of there with great blades, just some, the judge preferred one over the other more. And that losing in that way, it doesn't help. But there's guys that get in there, I've been blacksmithing for 35 years, and it, like, what they turn out looks like something that I did in my fireplace when I first began, and all I had was a DVD to watch and a Harbor Freight anvil sitting in my living room, hammering on linoleum. Right? Like, I mean, that's what it looks like, and they've supposedly done it for 35 years. That is not a good call sign for their business. That's a thing there. So I'll stop ranting so I can get back to some questions, but it is it's a very interesting topic. I don't think it's one we've covered a whole lot of.
No, I said you should make a video on it.
So to give some positives, counteract that, I think Forged in Fire, for somebody who's starting out, somebody who's really trying to make a name for themselves, if they win or if they do well while they are there, it can be that spotlight they need to highlight and say, hey guys, I'm here. Yep. I make good knives too. And so it can be a great opportunity for that.
Yep. James says, man, I have way too bad of luck to go on Forged in Fire.
How about
Corey Shire, I got a t-shirt with a pouting monkey covered in bandages and the caption, sharp pointy things makes me sad.
That's a sneaky quick hello. Can't hang out. Paul Fontanini, thank you for being here. Sorry you can't stay around. Yeah, so that's why Jessica got me a forge, because of my habit of smithing in the living room, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the bug bad, so. Yep, that's true. James, County Line Forge. Yep, brother. I mean, that's one of the things Forge and Fire can definitely do. It can expose a greater audience in a way that's never been done before to all the blacksmithing businesses out there. This is another great point. Start today if you want to start your blacksmithing business. This is a great time. This is a cherry time. And believe you me when I say this, and anybody who's been around the blacksmithing trade long enough knows, this is a fad, and it will fad out. It will. It will, it will, it will. We are on an upturn, an uphill rise. It will fall. It will fall. And so you need to start getting your business in there now, start getting yourself secure, and getting your client base built up, and getting your products established, and then stay at it and start putting money back for dry times and all those things. It's good to start now while it's building, while it's constantly building, because that is what will carry you through, because there's going to be a whole bunch of people when the craze is over trying to jump on board, and they're not going to make it, and there's going to be a whole bunch of people who jump on board or that jumped on board thinking it was going to be an easy ride to the top, but they did it in ways that was unsustainable, and their business is going to tank, and it's going to go down hot and heavy for them. Slow and steady wins the race. You don't want to blow up like a skyscraper and be the best and the biggest and the whatever and have 87 employees and you name it, right, all of a sudden, because you just, you think you're making tons of money here, and then that goes like that on you, and you lose everything. You lose your shirt, right? So don't leverage more than what you make on this as a business. Work hard every day. Definitely put things in place to where you can survive that windfall to the next uphill climb, in this, and you'll do just fine.
Granddad's Forge says, I can't wait until it fads out and anvils will come down. Yep. Yeah, the anvil prices have been up for a bit. Let's see, Susan Ellis said, you did not just say a Harbor Freight anvil in the living room. 1,000 times no. Yeah, it was bad. It didn't last long. She told me to get out, so. Spencer Coote says, that's how I started, in the living room, that is.
That's funny.
Forge, for the Honor Forge, I still need to establish and secure that hand forged flip-flop.
You do indeed. No.
That would be, if you go around to shows, that would probably be really funny to take that with you and just have people look at those.
She says, you all have got to stop. Paul is going to want to do this. Go for it, Paul. Go for it. It'll allow her to make you want to buy a bunch of tools in a shop.
Tyler Gibbons says, I've been smithing for a while and I can't find a reliable, cheap coal for my forge. Where do I look?
Tyler Gibbons, what part of the country are you located in? And the easiest answer I can give for that is Google Abana blacksmiths.org, I think it is. I think that's their website.
.org, I think.
Yeah, it might be abana.org. Look up Abana, get on their website. They have a section there for blacksmith resources and clubs, and you should be able to find a club in your area. Even if it's a 3 or 4 hour drive away, it's worth going to the club and getting with people. Lots of times, because they're a club, they have coal on hand, and you can either buy it from them or they can let you know how to go about getting good coal for yourself at a reduced rate. So that would be my best advice for that. Yeah, Tennessee, you shouldn't have a problem. You're in the eastern half of the United States. You shouldn't have a problem getting coal in Tennessee. Kentucky, there's plenty of coal companies in Kentucky that'll haul for you. Virginia, PA, there's a ton of coal here on the eastern half of the United States. So definitely get with the local blacksmithing club, and I'm telling you, even if it's a 4 hour drive away or maybe it's 6 hours, it is worth the drive, the night stay, and the ask to find that information out from people who are local to you. because they're going to be able to give you like the inside scoop, like, oh, I know so and so. We get our coal; it's the best. It's it's a whatever this is a pound, and you'll be glad you did. You're very welcome, Tyler Gibbons. Susan Ellis. You're not helping. You're funny, Susan. We appreciate you being a part of the stream regardless. Please don't leave. Please don't leave. Stay here. We'll behave, we promise, for a little while. Just a little while. Dirt cheap or coal cheap? Coal cheap.
Yeah, Mike Ducamp is having trouble finding it in eastern North Carolina. You can buy it online and have it shipped to you, but I mean, the fact that you're shipping something so big and bulky and heavy is cost prohibitive. So, I mean, even if you just go to a blacksmithing conference once a year, I mean, you'd have to, if you're driving a distance, you'd have to stock up on a good bit of it to bring down the cost per pound or however you want to calculate it for yourself. So,
like SOFA does a once a year for members of SOFA. They do a big coal drop, and there's like 22 tons. They unload a whole rail car, 22 tons of coal on the fairgrounds up there at the Miami County Fairgrounds in not at Quad State, but at the Blacksmithing Club. And that's usually right around February, March time frame that they do that. And basically, if you help shovel and get your coal in the building, you get it at cost, what it costs them to take it from the mine and drop it there. And it's about half the cost as anywhere. Half the cost. And it's good by Mutimus Blacksmith coal. It's good coal. It's what I use in my shop. And there's guys that come from all around. There's guys that come clear down from Upper Peninsula, Michigan. They make the drive in a big old 5-ton truck, and they get coal. And then they supply smiths up in Michigan with it. So, again, it makes the point to take and load up a trailer and make that one-time cost. If you're worried about how much to get, a ton for a hobbyist will last you a really long time. If you are a professional blacksmith, a ton will last me about 3/4 of a year, tops. Usually I go through about 2 tons a year of coal. When I've got the work for the coal to do, that's been offsetted somewhat with gas or propane, but in my workshop, but I still use a bunch of coal. So again, it's a really good deal that way. You get a couple tons, bring it back to your house. Heck, you can sell off a ton of it and pay for your trip for going and getting your own ton, and that would be a way of doing that.
Yeah, Spencer Coote's lump wood charcoal is really good. I used it for a long while.
Yep.
So I thought of a topic point that would go well along with our theme for tonight, and it's actually based on a comment we had here recently on one of our 3 at 3s, and it was our 3 at 3 was talking about the benefits of starting your own business, and some of the points we made in there is that you get to when you're working for yourself, you get to define your own schedule. It's one of the benefits among others. And we had a commenter who had commented, I see. Basically, his just was that I see your points and everything you said, but financially, it can be devastating to run your own business. And this has been a very interesting topic because it is true.
I'll let her rant on this.
Okay, you're let me go with this one for a bit. So, the reason why I bring this up as this is a stream that we are encouraging people to start their own blacksmithing business, and even if you have nothing, you're starting just with a couple of tools and starting from there and working your way up, is that don't expect that if you were to quit your day job today and start spending 40 hours a week in your forge, that instantaneously you're going to be able to provide your full-time income off of that. It's really a building process, not only building your skills, but building a customer base, getting this volume of people viewing your items. If you're selling online, or, knowing which craft shows and what venues to go to if you're selling locally. It's not an instantaneous overnight process. So
usually, but I'm gonna rant a little bit when
Okay.
I'll explain a few things of where it is. But go ahead.
Okay. But like even if you've watched any of our business of blacksmithing videos from last year, like we just keep reiterating this, like it takes time to build, so get started now. If you want to have a blacksmithing business, don't wait till you've lost your job or whatever. Start making things now and selling them, and the sales may be slow at the beginning, but it'll get you started and it'll get you on the roll, and it'll get you thinking in that mindset, okay, what do I need to do to help get my business off of the ground? And so my other point to go along with this is the fact that yes, there is going to be dry times. Even we, as successful as you might say we are, that we have dry times as well. And like our dry times pretty much hit us January through April. Like that's our dry times where we're getting very few orders. There's most likely there's things that we could do to find a market during that time of things that would sell, but instead we kind of take that time and we put extra effort towards YouTube. That's how we've decided to use that slow time in our business. But like yes, if we were living right at our budget or right at all of our bills for every month, when it hits January 1 and like we had no orders for that entire month, comes February 1st and it's time to pay rent, like we would have to get a job of some sort, or we'd have to bring in another type of income and another revenue stream. So running your own business, you are going to have slow times, and that means you're going to have to, when you are doing really well, you've got to make it a point to put aside a savings of some sort for when you run into that.
Yeah. So I would just want to notice David L. Hader Jr. Just wanted to say, David, understand that you got to go. You got stuff to do. But thank you for being a part of the stream, sir. We greatly appreciate you as always, and always being such a great supporter here and visiting us on Monday nights. So we appreciate you. So I'm going to go ahead and go in on that now a little bit from a different perspective. So there was nothing ever created in this world that didn't take sacrifice, that didn't take dry times, that didn't take perseverance, that didn't take, stamina and strength and stress and sleepless nights and sweat equity. There's nothing in this whole world or all of America that was ever built by concept, by mere concept alone. Did some of it take forever? Did some people have the means to do it? Yes. But there's plenty of examples of people who have become super successful in a relative short period of time. Alex Steele, he's one of those. That boy makes more money than everybody in this comment section, and me included. Group together, take all of our salaries. He makes more money than each and every last one of us in 1 month. What we make in 1 year. Smart. Worked hard.
But still, it took him a year of daily vlogs.
It did. It took him a year of daily vlogging. It took a lot of special secret sauce to get him to the top, whatever that metric was for him. But he's super successful. He quit high school. Quit high school. I'm not recommending kids do that by no means. But for him, he knew what he wanted to do at a very young age. He knew what he wanted to be, and he went after it. He went after it. Took sacrifice. Took sacrifice to his own education. Took sacrifice. I'm sure his parents were less than enthusiastic to find out that their son was, really hell-bent on doing this for a living. And this and that. And with no proof. No proof. No proof whatsoever that he could make it an actual go of it.
Yep.
But slowly but steadily, build up and build up and build up and worked hard and worked hard and build up, and he got there. It took him a while, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Liam Hoffman of Hoffman Blacksmithing. He does axes and stuff. If you haven't checked his channel out, you should. He got a huge boost, and I do mean a huge boost, by collaborating with Alex Steele. Again, if you look at it, and his company exploded. Now, he was already doing pretty decent axes, but they got a lot better after that because he started making thousands and thousands and thousands more, right? And so now he's out. I just watched a video of his. You know, I mean, he can't even take orders now for 2 years. If he would have said, no, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get a visual arts degree, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to be an engineer, or this or that, he would not have had any shorter time to the top.
Right.
Or any longer time to the top. You put your money, you put your effort where your mouth is, and you will grow a business. I keep telling people this from the get-go and the start. And, you know, yes, that financial crippling that everybody's talking about. You know, frankly, America is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. We are. We're one of the wealthiest countries in the world. If you have a car sitting in your driveway, I mean, heck, you're doing a lot better than about 90% of the people on this planet. Right? America is one of the biggest consumers of goods, both foreign and domestic. So if you live in America, you live in a land of promise. You live in a land of, you know, the free and the brave and all that other jazz, right? Like you live here, you have an opportunity. Even sometimes when it doesn't feel like you do. You know, it's real easy to take a look at circumstances and say, oh, I can't do that, or oh, I can't do that right now. Oh, I can't. It's an excuse. It's an excuse. There's a lot of things you can do. You can wake yourself up and you can go into that work where you hate that boss and you put that fake smile on your face yet again another day for another year after you've been there 25 years and you still hate the guy, right? 25 years later and you're still there. You can do that every day for 25 years, or you can choose to start building your business for the next 25 years. Which one is more important to you? What is it going to take? You can't get caught up on the fact of, oh, well, oh, darn, I'll have to sell off some things, and maybe if I hit dry time and have to eat some soup beans for a while. You know, is it really that bad? It's risk assessment. Risk, reward. Risk, reward. When I got bummed up in my car wreck, and I got shifted because I wasn't paying attention, I felt a real strong call in my heart to take and do this from the Lord and to take and do this for a living. And this was right after Touchstone, my first time going. I just felt a call, didn't I? I said, I need to be doing this, right? I need to be doing this for a living. This is what I'm meant to do. This is what I'm meant to do. But then I got back. And then there was the security aspect because I was bringing in good money. Right? I was bringing in good money. We're bringing in a steady paycheck, right?
Yep.
She was pregnant.
One baby, yep. Had one young child and one on the way.
We had Abigail, which was 2 years old, and we had one on the way. Well, one on the way. She wasn't too far from bursting. Yeah. You know, I mean, she's ready to pop. And then I got thrown into a whole different life, you know. And went on government assistance for a little while and WIC and things and you know, and I was in recovery mode for about 6 months, and a buddy of mine come alongside me and gave me some jobs that I could sit on a stool and paint because I couldn't stand for real long, right? And I, you know, peeled wallpaper and I did whatever odd jobs, and at the same time I still worked hard. You know, at that time our grocery bills a month were like $100 a month for groceries, like for an entire month. Imagine that for a second, you know. And we canned and we gardened and we scrimped and we scraped and we saved, and didn't we? We worked hard at that. So the whole financial thing, you know, again, it's risk assessment. It's risk assessment in your life. If you're not willing to take the risk, you know, then play it safe. Play it safe. But when you get to the end of your life, when you get 30 years down the road and you're sitting there wondering and saying, man, I wish I would have done that. Wonder if anything would have become of that. That's going to be on you. You can't blame that boss. You can't blame the economic times. You can't blame the president. You can't blame the, you know, the guy down the street that cuts the lawn. You can't blame anybody else but yourself for not taking the steps. So if you want to get into this, and I'll second what Jessica said, You know, if you want to get into this, you need to start. You need to start somewhere. That's the whole subject of this kind of thing is, you know, get started, even if it's with nothing. If that's something you want to do, you just need to start. You know, stop wasting time when you get home. Everybody gets the same 24 hours, so you just get to choose what you want to do with them. Maybe play an Xbox, which I don't even think anybody plays Xbox anymore. I'm getting old school here. But, you know, maybe playing Xbox is your thing, and you like to get back and, oh, yeah, I've had such a hard day at work. The boss was a jerk, and I'm going to sit here and veg for the next 2 hours. You know what you could take that 2 hours and do? You could actually go and apply yourself at your business for the next 2 hours. And saying, you know what, guy, in 2 to 3 years, I'm out of here. I'm going to blow out of this popsicle stand. And I'm going to be thankful I did.
Yep.
You know, and does that mean you're always going to have cupcakes and gravy? No, that's not. No, that's not what that means. You know, you're going to have your ups and you're going to have your downs, and you're going to have markets where they balloon up and it seems like everything, you're on top of the world, and then it's going to crash and feel like you're falling, just an absolute free fall, right, with no one to catch you.
Yep.
And it's at those times, it's the people who stay at it, that put their shoulder to the plow again. They're the ones that become very successful. They're the ones that at the end of their life, they're glad and they're happy about what they've done.
Which is, I mean, the market falling, like you say, which is a very good reason that if you have the option to not go in debt to start your business, don't do so. Like, find whatever other method possible to avoid going in debt. Like, you know, when we were doing YouTube last year, Roy sold off a bunch of his treasured, I don't know if I say that, I don't know if it'll ding us on it or not.
They were bang items.
Yeah.
There.
He sold those off so that he could.
We totally went Craigslist there for a second.
That was so Craigslist.
Yeah.
But yeah, he sold off some of his stuff that he hadn't been using so that he could get this phone here, the LG V20. It's probably not, can't see it.
Okay.
But when we bought this thing, it was like $600. It's less expensive now. But he wanted to film.
Yeah, $270 right now.
He wanted to
Shows
film
how
his
temporal
videos
that
with
is.
it. Yeah. But he filmed 500 videos with that. But he made the sacrifice on having the other items so that he could have the phone and he could move forward on the YouTube channel. So that's just one example of it.
Yep. I sold off those things because we didn't have enough money to go with that. And you know what? I threw that all in on a bet that was only making us like $40 a month. Well, let that sink in for a second. I sold off. Like, I got more than just the $600 worth of phone. It was nearly about $1,000 worth of stuff for YouTube, right? And I sold off $1,000 worth of things that meant a lot to me to take and invest into something that was not worth the same at that point. That there was no return on at that point.
No.
But I believe in it. I believe that this is a great platform. I believe in entrepreneurship. I believe in everything that we are doing right now. I believe it every time I get a comment from one of you guys out there or you gals out there that you're like, hey, man, I'm being successful. Every 13-year-old kid warms my heart to know that every 13-year-old kid say, hey, because of you, I decided I wanted to take and do this. And man, I've already made XYZ dollars, you know, a couple $100, you know, and I'm going to put that towards my college education. Like, that's why I do what I do. You know, that means more to me than that return, right? And so at that point in time, once again, I didn't have all the angles figured out. It didn't make financial sense. No one was offering me a steady paycheck. And I say steady with quotation points, right? This steady paycheck with all these great benefits and health care and all this other stuff. No one was offering me any of that. Still aren't.
Right.
But I'm still making choices to go to the future. And, you know, making those choices in, you know, educated guesses, if you will, or educated choices about what way to go next, right? And some of those are failures. Some of those don't work out. Like you think, oh, I'm going to make millions. And a lot of them don't, you know, and you just, it's just a part of it. But there is no guarantee that you're going to work 40 hours a week and you're going to get paid 40 hours of pay. Or you're going to work 100 hours a week and you're going to get paid 100 hours of pay. Mm-hmm. But yet, we plow along. We continue to plow right along. So, and actually, we've got a series that'll be coming up here real soon, because it's something that I personally want to do. But it's going to be talking about a six-figure business, how to take and make a six-figure business of your blacksmithing business. And we're going to have an e-course and some other things on it, and we're going to go into some real hard, in-depth, detailed numbers in that e-course. On that, and that's just a little blurb there for everybody who's stuck around in this in this YouTube chat for this long, that you guys are getting a free one there. You know, we release those little, whatever they call them, nuggets, Easter eggs, or whatever you say, right? I want to answer for the honor Forge real quick. Thought process question: How do we recognize what a reward is and ensure it is actually worthwhile? Your reward is what you place value in. So, do you actually have, what do you place value in? That can be your reward. For me, it's something as simple as paying for my daughter to be able to do the things that she wants in life, right? Like if she wants to be able to do any of my kids, right? If they want to go and they want to see Disney princesses on ice or something, right? Mm-hmm. Like that's a reward to me. Up in the next couple weeks, we're going to go camping. Mm-hmm. Something we haven't done in a long time. That's a reward to me. That's a reward to me. And having the freedom to do that. When I worked heating and air, it was a constant fight to get any time off. Yeah. I was expected, and I loathe this saying. It's like, well, we're a family. And I tell them very vehemently, I have a family, and you, sir, are definitely not it. And that was one of those things, it was like always choosing between work and home. And I could never be home because I was always at work. I'd come home and I'd just be about work, and I'd be at home, it ruined my evening, and then I wake up, and then the next day I have to go right back to work, right? And it was that same cycle again and again and again, and it loathed my soul so bad. It did. I praise God every day I got in that car. I praise Him for that, because I just, He's like, fine, you won't jump, I'll make you jump. And so there you go. I jumped, I got kicked, boop, right off that cliff of crazy, and now here we are, right? Yeah. But it came at a cost. It came at a price, and it still comes at a cost and a price. And it's a price that I'm willing to pay, because that's my reward. It's my reward. You out there, our viewers, us doing this, sitting for 2 hours, when we should be responding to customers' emails right now, when we should be taking and going out and working because it's the heat of the days off with the 100-degree heat index, that it's been over that here in Ohio today alone. Like, I should be out in the forge and hitting it again for another few hours, until dark. And who knows, I just might when we end this stream. You all are my reward. To see you be successful, you're the reward for this. Yep. Because contrary to popular belief, streams don't actually make you a lot of money when it comes to AdSense. After you polish them, they kind of just die, right? So it's like the equivalency of maybe $1 in an entire month, right? And then so guys like Graham, who does the super chat, and like everybody who supports us on our Friday night live streams, like, you don't know how much that means to us. Like, you're helping us. You are like literally helping us be able to like not make it a thing where, like, do we work on our own actual work, or do we work on helping people? Like, that's why I say give them a hand clap in the comment section. Every last one of you, pat yourself on the back if you've ever supported us in our streams. Definitely. And that's not a sale angle. Please don't start super chatting now, and don't feel obligated or anything like that. I'm just being real with you. I'm being honest with you. Because we would be here without super chat. We would be here still doing this if no one supported it.
Right.
Because we believe in helping other people, and we think that that is somehow, some way that's going to come back in kind someday. You know, rather we're going to hear about somebody and they're going to be like, I owe all my great success to, you know, that little dumb couple that sat on Monday night live streams and ranted about Wild Blue Yonder stuff, right? You know, and so that's real. That's real. We would be here regardless. We would be here regardless. And you know, and we are very thankful for that. But it's something we believe in, so it requires cost. It requires sacrifice and time. So I'll stop ranting on that. I just think that sometimes people make truisms about things. They just say, well, it just is. You just make a statement. It's hard to get your full thoughts. I understand, in a comment section. Some people don't need to put their full thoughts in a comment section. But then some people, you know, again, they maybe don't fully convey out what their thought process was. Or maybe they just had a hard day or something. But a lot of times, you know, no, that's not a truism. You know, it's not like, I've been told, oh, you can't make it as a blacksmith. I've been told by blacksmiths who were making it as a blacksmith that I wouldn't be able to make it as a blacksmith. Lord and behold, here I am, 6-figure income and all. Shows you what they know, right?
Yeah. Jeff Sandling, sure, go ahead. You can, we okay the comment. Looking for somebody to forge and learn with.
Okay, yeah. Jeff Sandling, share away, buddy. If you don't mind your personal information being out there, I would maybe say do it to a Gmail or something and then share your personal information that way. If anybody's interested in helping Jeff Sandling out on that, just kind of put your Gmail or something like that up. That would be better than him sharing his personal contact info on the stream. Because you might get contacted by people who you don't want to be contacted by.
Granddad's Forge, it wasn't really a bet. You knew you had the mojo for this blacksmithing thing. You had faith in yourself.
Yes, I did. I did have a lot of faith. Not necessarily in myself, though, Granddad's Forge, but I did have faith.
He also said, James, quit posting videos during the live stream, LOL.
That's funny. We'll see you, Silly Op. Sorry you couldn't stay around, buddy. God bless you.
Ed Grey Wolf, I got a plan.
Paul Ellis. Silly Op. I keep calling him Silly Op. Paul Ellis. Goodbye, buddy. Oh. Good.
Ed Grey Wolf says, I got a plan, but it's happening slowly.
Yep. Ed Grey Wolf, that's fine. There's ways that you can improve. There's tons and tons of ways that you could probably improve. Just look for them. Search them out. I know we've got a lot of videos on the channel about improving and stuff. Just be looking for those. If you're unsatisfied with the result that you're getting right now, moving forward, start thinking of ways that you can make it move faster, or a certain aspect of it to move faster in your business.
Yeah, a good part of that. I told Roy I was listening to a live stream earlier on time management, and part of that is evaluating where you're spending your time. You know, you've got to see what part of my day is wasteful. Where am I being wasteful with my time? You know, an example was given. You know, the speaker was saying, you know, when he's going on an airplane, he travels a lot. You know, he's not just sitting on the airplane enjoying the ride. You know, he's working, he's answering emails, he's, you know, seeing if he can post something on Instagram or Facebook, and, you know, just staying constantly active and forward moving, even when you just have a few minutes to spare.
Yep. Goodies Garage, we'll see you later. So you're welcome for our time. Thank you for your time, sir, and being here. If you are a sir, I don't know. Goodies Garage. You person, thank you for being here. So, yeah, Edge Grey Wolf, working full time as a truck driver. Yeah, I can see where that could be very tough and difficult. Again, you know, but maybe one of those things that you could do is, you know, look at a way of maybe getting some routes that bring you closer to home, or closer to home more often, things like that. You know, and believe it or not, believe it or not, maybe it might take you laying off some work of your regular work to invest into your business, to go that way, you know, and say, okay, well, I'm not going to take as many routes, and then it requires belt tightening and stuff. You just kind of have to decide. Once again, you have to weigh out that cost versus reward thing for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
He's working right now, LOL. Driving on down the road, listening to YouTube.
There you go. At least you're being productive.
See, you're working.
That way.
Yeah, believe it or not, right now you are working on your business currently just by listening to the stream and listening to, advice and encouragement on that. Hey, County Line Forge, James, you have a good night, brother. Get back to that grinder. Be careful out there. We know you're prone to accidents and whatnot. What else gonna happen? Yep, local truck drivers. We got several local truck drivers in the house. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all for what you do, delivering goods and all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, our Walmart store would not be supplied without you.
Right.
And basically everything else that is in commerce these days. Thank you. Yeah.
David, I'm giving the baby a bath as I walk. Just don't let your phone get near the edge of the water.
Don't drop the baby in the bath water, you know, just... He said, yeah, life happened to me, but I'll be fine. Good, James. Glad to hear you. I'm glad life happened to you, but you'll be fine. I didn't get to read up fully on it, but you seem like you had yeah, he did post. Look at that. I'm looking at my phone. County Line Forge, an update from the Forge. Well, after this stream is over, everybody go check out James at County Line Forge's update from the Forge. Ought to be interesting and entertaining. So.
Graham says, I'm struggling at this point in my life, Roy. I have breathing difficulties.
So I can very well sympathize with you on that, Graham. I've had cardiovascular problems in the past. A lot when I was a lot heavier set back in the, I don't know, several years ago now.
It's about 2.5 or 3 years.
So 2.5, 3 years ago, I got winded real easily and things like that. One of the things that I've been paying closer attention to now, more than ever, is like where smoke is going, and I used to just not think about that too much, but now it really bugs me thinking about all the stuff I've inhaled over the time that I've blacksmithed and stuff, and really didn't pay attention so much. And I have noticed, like, if I try to like run or something like that, I like to run for health if I can. I get a lot of like, almost like a wheeziness and some stuff, and so I can tell my lungs are not up to 100%, and so I can sympathize with you on that one. Also, I imagine Australia is quite hot. I don't know if you're the same climate
right
here.
Now it's fall for them.
If it's fall there for you, but for me, it was finding out when I could work. So, like in heat, couldn't do heat. I couldn't do heat when I was having respiratory issues. So if it's a lot of heat in your area, maybe it's wait until cooler parts of the day. Sometimes that can be inconvenient. Sometimes it helps just have a fan blow directly on your face. Just get you a good amount of wind blowing. Just kind of help better support oxygen, make you breathe a little harder, I guess. Breathe a little more clean air, fresh air. I hope that helps. There's not a whole lot, obviously I'm not a doctor or anything, but I'll be praying for you, Graham, that your respiratory stuff gets to clear up for you.
Spencer Coots, where do your kids go for these streams? They're actually watching a video in the other room. I think they're watching Ants this time.
Yeah, they're watching a movie.
Yep. Movie night.
Yep.
For the Honor Forge rule of thumb for working with grinders, grind out what you don't need and don't grind what you do need, like fingers. You gotta keep all your 10 digits.
Yes, that is a trick, ain't it?
Micah Darwin says you should do a video helping to orient new blacksmiths in the world of steels, such as types, categories, subcategories, what they're used for, etc.
Yeah, that would be a nice video. I'd do that.
Yeah, I think we've had that one requested before.
Yeah, I'll try to get one of those out here in the next future somewhere. I say the next future because I don't know when that video will come out, but I'll do my best to get that one out there.
Definitely.
It's definitely worth doing a good job on if I'm going to. Yep. There you have it.
Yeah.
Well, for the people still around.
Yeah, we got 29.
Do you want to click over and show people some of my stuff real quick?
I can show that for a little bit.
All right. Well, let's hopefully it won't crash the thing, but let's see what we got here.
Keep an eye on it. So I was actually wanting to pull up all of my files of pictures, but it's on my other computer, so I just had to go to Facebook and I scrolled way down to the bottom to our first items we posted, and apparently the first items we posted was some tomahawks Roy made.
Oh God.
So he made other items before those came out, but it's the only ones we posted pictures of on Facebook. So yep, let me try to scroll up slowly here. Yeah, so there's a couple of those made from the infamous railroad spikes.
Railroad spike tomahawks, gentlemen. That's right. And did you know I sold every last one of those?
You did, on eBay for $75.
Believe it or not. Believe it or not. A little cross I made for our church. My first examples of roses, this was after Touchstone Center for Crafts.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have the before photo on there. But.
Nope, thank God. Yep. Some original tulips and stuff.
What was it you put on those? Was it just food coloring to try to dye them? Or?
Yeah, it was food coloring I tried to dye them with instead of doing paint. It kind of came out neat. But
yeah, kind of give them a translucent color. Some
original bowl work. Did.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look how rough those are. You can still see all the, sorry, I don't mean to be mean, but it's
no, they were rough. They were rough back in the day, so. Yep, going up. I was trying.
You were trying. They have a rustic type look to them.
You could say that.
Here's Roy's first live demonstration right here at DVAC. He just had his little, was that a fishery bowl?
Yep.
And he had a torch. He just stuck it up through the petrol hole and heated some metal. Just a little propane tank there.
Yep.
There's some more of your copper bowls as you
progressed and got a little bit better.
So you got better at polishing for sure, and the edges look smoother.
Yep. Started doing some steel bowls.
Some of your flowers. And some of these photos you may have seen last week if you joined us for the live stream too. They were a lot of in the earlier days we did quite a few craft shows and street fairs and stuff like that. So, yep. Yeah.
Then it just progresses from there. I don't think we've got any older ones than that, do we?
No, unfortunately, no. Let's swap this back over here.
Scene one. Hopefully we didn't crash the stream.
It didn't go blue.
Nope. Hopefully we're good to go. So I said, ooh, show and tell.
Yeah. Ooh, it's going a little too high.
Okay. There we go.
Okay.
Now it got back down. Woo! We almost lost it there for a second.
Yeah, we pegged it there for a second.
And that's pegging it.
And I'm not touching it. Hands off.
I don't think we need this stream. I don't think we need that portion open, honey. I think we can just look at. We don't need to see ourselves talking.
Okay.
I think that's what's pegging the meter. See?
Yeah.
It's 100% now. There we go.
That's how we had it before.
All right. I think it's a little better. It's unhappy right now.
It is unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Mike G. I've always liked photography, and I've got some. Not all my photos turned out looking great. I do have some not pleasant ones where I just put Roy's item on the floor and on the dirty linoleum and snapped a picture. So
yeah, it was bad.
They just didn't make it up on Facebook.
Yep. So, well, hopefully we're still going there. So, yeah, I know what to do with my railroad spikes. That's silly. But yeah, so hopefully we didn't crash here. I think we're still going. So, but yeah.
Granddad's Forge. Aw, ain't it cute?
Yep, it was. So, yeah, that's good. So yeah, it was pegging the CPU there for a little bit. We were trying to push it a little hard.
Yeah.
But oh well. So, all right. Well, I think we're going to start wrapping up the stream here this evening. I hope we imparted enough information for you all out there, or some sort of good information. I really hope that everybody out there has a great week this week. We've got a really busy week ourselves. A lot of work has come in here recently. We're still trying to get all that sorted with everything in the live stream and stuff too. Be sure to check us out on our Friday night live stream. I'm hoping to continue on the wrought iron sledgehammer and continue that in the next week's live stream. And that will be, that is a collaboration between John Switzer at Black Bear Forge and Tim at Big Dog Forge, and also Work with Nature. David over at Work with Nature, is that correct? I think that's his name. David over at Work with Nature. We're doing a excuse me. Yeah.
Like right in the middle of your
sorry. We're doing a wrought iron collaboration, and so make sure you check those guys' channels out. I'll do a more official collaboration video talking about it and spelling that out and putting them in the details, so this way you guys can see their progress and whatever they're doing. I'm going to finish up doing this, try to do as much of this wrought iron hammer during the streams, at least the interesting parts, like the forge welding, the faces on, and the cheek pieces, and then I will probably go into doing the decoration portions later on. The decoration portions will be something that I'll just do regular videos on, and then hopefully get it all finished up here in the next month or so. Huh?
Yes, exactly.
Yep. So
just gonna close
get
that.
rid of a few things. Good.
Yeah, maybe cause an issue. I would know we were gonna say we were gonna give them a sneak peek of that, but
yeah. Where are we gonna give them a sneak peek of what?
Yeah, kind of the new website. But
okay. Did we want to do that now?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we'll give you. I know we're about to get off. I'll give you one quick.
Yep.
Last
all right. Jessica wants to give you one more quick thing. Hopefully she don't crash it. If she does crash it, thank you all for being here with us this evening, and we'll catch you next live stream. But I don't think she will crash it. So are we good to go?
Yes.
Okay.
So the last month or so, maybe, we've been talking little bits here and there that we are kind of making a new landing page for our website for our blacksmithing stuff. And I'm still trying to get the blacksmith PDF's URL to direct to this page. But if you go to ChristandIronworks.com, or even just the regular blacksmithpdfs.com, and up here on our bar now, you'll see the word blacksmithing. And if you click on that, it'll bring you to this new page, which is our new landing page. And what I've done is I've taken a lot of the information and different things we have going on and kind of condensed it into one page, as you're about to see, so that it's a very good centralized point that if you're visiting our website for something and you're just kind of curious about the other things, it makes it easy for you to check it out because it's all in one place. But the very first thing here is the calendar, and that's where we're going to keep, make sure we put updates on stuff that we're doing. Stuff like the Rabicon conference, that's in
anywhere
there.
that I'm teaching, anywhere that will be. One of the things we'll put up there, I will be at Quad State this year, so I'll put that there. We'll be at the RABA, I'm a conference demonstrator there. I'll be up there this year. Things like that. If I have any blacksmith classes I'm taking personally, I'll try to include those as well. Throw those in there in the calendar of events, so this way you guys can kind of keep up to date and stick with us.
So the links and stuff will be there too. Like if you're interested in going to one of the conferences, I'll put information there and the links so you can find out more about it.
Yeah, it'll be a resource page for that. Yep.
Centralized thing. Private lessons, right now it says coming soon because we're still working out with our landlord on exactly the details of that and got to get permission. So now this third option here, the digital downloads, that's now what you'll click on to go to the page that the Blacksmith PDFs normally was. And it's still the same format. It has all of the listings for all of the power hammer plans and the bundles and all that. It's still the same. You just now you come into this page and then you click on digital downloads to access all the downloads.
We also have merchandise tab, so one stop area there that you can click on there and find our latest merchandise, right?
Yep. It'll jump you over to Teespring. That's all you have to do with that one. Consultations, if you want to speak with us about business or blacksmithing, you can arrange to do a phone consultation. So that's there. And ebooks, right now I only have the blacksmith cheat sheet on there, but
there'll be a bunch more coming.
Yeah, I've got some in the works, so those will be added to once they're completed.
Yeah. So after the stream's over, really bless us if you just go check out the site. Give us some feedback next Monday live stream, what you think, or on the Friday night live stream. Tell us if you like the format and stuff, and just let us know. Go over and check out the website and see if you like it.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I'm gonna call it good there.
No, we can keep talking. Anyways, yeah. Blacksmith teacher, that's going to be where I'm teaching blacksmithing classes. It'll be kind of a repeat.
It's like a bio, actually.
Is it a bio?
It's like a bio of any time he's taught a class, so that like if you wanted to recommend your blacksmithing organization or your club, like, hey, can we have Roy out? They could come and read this page and read the bio about him, and there's photographs and stuff too.
See, I thought it was just another landing page. See, I haven't been into the whole thing just yet. So,
and it's got a contact form too at the bottom, so it's specific that we know if somebody fills out that contact form, they're asking us about teaching a class. So, same thing with the blacksmith demonstrator. It's a bio specifically of all of the demonstrations you've done, and it has some information specific to that as well. The recommended shop tools. This is our Amazon affiliate page where stuff that Roy likes using in the shop. If he's particularly fond of it, then we put it up there as a recommended item. Some of our plans and stuff like that, the items that you need to make some of those, like some of the springs or any
stuff like that. It's all on one landing page there.
If you hover over the item, it'll actually, I wrote in a description for a lot of them on why that's in our list.
So you can find it there, one easy shop there.
And then the very last item, the YouTube video gallery. Basically the stuff you guys are familiar with, that's just all our videos. It just jumps to our YouTube homepage.
Yep.
So
so let us know what you think about that when you get a chance.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're still good shape and everybody's around.
They're still there.
Woo-hoo!
Let's see, Spencer, you should hippify the site, have it be sick merch.
Sick merch. There you go.
Any more thoughts on promoting or collaborating with smaller channels?
Any more thoughts on promoting or collaborating with smaller channels? I've actually got a few plans in the future to do exactly that. The one thing with me excuse me. The one thing with me in collaborations is the fact that I like to take and see somebody who is putting in the time to collaborate. Because the whole kind of sub for me and I'll sub for you and that kind of thing, that just doesn't work on YouTube, because it really, what happens is the algorithm knows that game, and so therefore it actually punishes the channels that become a part of that sort of thing. And a lot of times when you see big multi-channel network collaborations where everybody's sending subs all over the place, right? Those channels actually get penalized for that.
Yeah.
As a whole. So they base a lot of their boosts and stuff and algorithms off of watch time, how much somebody watches of your videos. So for me personally, if I watch your content, if I like your content, then I choose that I would like to take and collaborate with you if I feel that it's fitting. there's been some channels in the past that kind of got with me about possibly maybe collaborating, and horrible, bad content, cussing, like stuff that just doesn't kind of really fit my values. When it comes to that, you know, I wouldn't feel comfortable sending some of our younger audience over to watch this particular person's channel, or things like that. Now, that hasn't been a lot, but I have had those, and so I'm selective on who I collaborate with. The reason why I've collaborated with Work with Nature, he always has something positive to say, and I've always, you know, when I've watched his stuff, he's kind of he's basically just beginning in his whole blacksmithing journey and type thing. So in a lot of ways, he could be, even though he's a big channel, so to speak, in subscribers, most of that's off of his gardening tutorials and things like that. He's just kind of getting started in blacksmithing, but I've enjoyed all of his blacksmith videos. You know, Tim at Big Dog Forge, he puts out stellar content, and he constantly works hard at that to try to take and sew into you guys, and so I can really appreciate that. I can recommend him. John Switzer, same thing. Killer instruction, man. Does a great job of instructing, and that's kind of why I selected these three to try to collaborate with. I wanted to see if they wanted to, but I do have some things where I want to put in place where I do help out a lot smaller creators than what we are, and that's not necessarily, I guess that's what I'm saying, that's not a requirement, and that's not a hindrance either. Size of channel doesn't really matter to me. It's the amount of effort and what you're putting forth out there. You know, if you're putting out forth all good things and you're working hard at that, and I can see that, and I enjoy watching your content, I'm definitely more than happy to help promote whoever I can promote in that way. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that is a good thing. So be looking forward to that. Techromatic, I've been watching your stuff a little bit, getting into that, liking it. So if you're wanting to collab with me at some point in time, we'll look into that. So
yeah, Techromatic mentioned the Tradesman's channel. Yeah, they did do a massive collaboration. I think the rules on that one was you had to have under 25,000 subs, and there's a few other little things to be part of their collaboration. But yeah, they did. They contacted some blacksmiths and a variety of craftsmen. Yeah,
and they did contact us about doing being a part of that. Some of the format I wasn't okay with of the way it was going to be. Again, like I said, I like to watch the channels that I collaborate with, and then some of that seemed like it was hosting a new channel each week of kind of somebody you should go check out. And again, I'm going to be real with you. I don't know some of these people, and so therefore I can't necessarily recommend a bunch of subs. I didn't feel right about being like, sure, I'll be a part of it, and then, you know, then duck out, you know, after I get my notoriety or what, you know, I get a ton of shout outs from smaller channels, and then I'm not necessarily doing the same because I don't feel like their values are the same. So, you know, again, I think it's great that they're all collaborating together. And, you know, I think that could be a powerful thing, especially if it's done in a way that you guys can create some watch time loops. That's kind of a big thing on YouTube, you know, so not just, oh, go look at this guy's channel, subscribe to him, but hey, I'm doing this portion of this build. If you want to see a different take of the way that this is done, go check out so-and-so's channel, and they're going to try it. Kind of the same thing I'm doing with John Switzer and Tim and, you know, Work with Nature. It's, you see what I'm doing with my wrought iron and stuff, and now it's up to you to go check out what they're going to do with their wrought iron, and therefore it creates a watch time loop, and that helps channels grow that way. So hopefully you can take that to that tradesman channel thing and apply that. That would be a great thing to see.
Jeff Sandling, Roy, I'm still learning, but also have a teaching and sharing mentality. Would you put out some videos on tips on teaching and doing demonstrations?
I would love that. Yeah. So, is he just wanting tips then on that? Then a video? Okay. Yeah. I'll put out some videos and tips on teaching and doing demonstrations. Yeah.
Yeah, some of these video ideas.
Yeah, would you like to grab a paper real quick? It's over there. So, yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, Techromatic. Yeah, you know, I don't get to watch a lot of YouTube. I stick up with, you know, John Switzer right now. You know, Tim at Big Dog Forge, I keep up with him. I keep up with Alex Steele a little bit when I can. You know, Tabor Allman, I like him a lot. Anytime DF in the shop posts a video, I try to keep up with him. And Purgatory Ironworks, they don't post a whole lot, and so you know, they're fairly easy to keep up with. I've been enjoying James at County Line Forge. I've been enjoying some of your content you've been putting out there, Techron, and you know, and so again, you know, I don't get to do it a lot. You know, I'm a pretty busy dude, but you know, I do appreciate you. I do appreciate the work you're putting in. Just hang on. Could I get the name of the farrier real quick? Oh, so make different question, not me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Good night, Sarah. Good night, Mike G and your wife Sarah. Why not? Good night, all. On that, anybody who's ducking out here, I know we're going over our time limit. We were going to take and get out of here about what, 15 minutes ago, but
yeah.
Lord behold, here we are. That's what happens, huh? So. Hopefully that answers anybody's questions and anybody's questions that they had for us, stuff like that. I will definitely put it in the queue to talk more about the teaching aspect of things and demonstrating and those sort of deals. We might even do a couple live streams on it. That'll be a good thing. One person had asked me up a while ago if I saw somebody's Javo's Ironworks had a wrought iron sledge. Did you catch that? Yeah, Granddad's Forge, if you're still around. I did see that on Instagram. Looks like he did a pretty good job. Not a big fan of the weld boogers, though, that he left in the piece. You know, I don't know if he's going to dress those out or if he didn't care about them too much. But you know, he did a real nice job on the sledge. I wish he would grind those things out, though. Get rid of those. Lose a little weight, just take out some of those the little weld slugs that you could see that he had tack welded the faces to hold it together. If you could get rid of those, I think that it would be a gorgeous and outstandingly gorgeous hammer. It already is a gorgeous hammer. It would just improve the aesthetic overall. It's a lot of material. It is a lot of material to manage. It's a lot of material to manage. So we started with that billet being a little over, just 4 inches tall. Wrought iron, we started with a billet that's 4 inches tall and 2 inches wide. We did a little more refining work on Saturday. I did not film any of it. It was boring. It was just, you know, waiting on metal to heat up. And then we just kind of kept hammering on it. We didn't even really get it to square yet. It was just, we just reduced it some more, and dressed it up a little cleaner. And that there took it from 4 inches tall to 2 3/4 inches tall. So, you know, we reduced quite a bit of mass there, consolidated it quite a bit. But I'm getting pretty excited for it. It's got a little more consolidation work to do. And then hopefully this Friday night live stream we'll be welding the faces on it. Again, that'll be me by myself, so we'll see how well that goes. Me getting the faces welded in. I think it'll go pretty well. I'm just going to do it like I've done all my hammers, where I cut the teeth on it, and then I tap the wrought iron so it grips, and then stick the whole thing in, bring it all the way up to a full weld, and then I'll weld each face in individually by myself. So. Yep. And then there is some, there'll be some other things coming up. I'm talking to a few other people, guys I know and stuff right now. There's going to be an interesting thing coming up later this fall, like winter time frame, that I'll be doing. I'm not letting out a lot of information, but when I say it's going to be big, I mean it's going to be big, and it's a lot of handwork. Ain't that right, honey?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I'm bad at keeping secrets.
Yeah,
it's gonna be hard.
You're not one at waiting till Christmas to open gifts and things like that.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know.
And you can keep it quiet.
I keep it quiet.
I'll
keep it quiet. All right, I'll keep it quiet for right now. But I want to tell them. Oh well, you guys can wait on that one, but we'll release the video on that when we get a little closer. It ought to be a good time.
I was writing down Ed Gray Wolf's top 6 tools needed to start other than hammer, anvil, hammer, and tongs.
Okay. Jeff Sandling has said, was asked to do a demonstration at my dad's club last tractor show because the guy that's done it's age/health, can't do it anymore. Don't want to see it go away, but a bit nervous taking it on. So, Jeff Sandling, if you can get that type of gig to take and do the demonstration, I think you should. This whole subject tonight was about walking out and taking it on. And, plan, if it's your first time being in front of people, demonstrating in people, pick smaller items. Things that don't take you a lot of mental space to do, don't try to get too showy with it. People, especially the general populace, are very short-minded. They're very narrow...
And short
attention spans, very narrow views about what blacksmithing is. So focus on kind of the wow factor of, hey, I'm a blacksmith and I'm bending this. Look how I'm bending this. Isn't this cool? I'm bending this. Twists are a real big hit. Talk a little bit about what you like about blacksmithing. Not a bunch. Get in there, bend some rings or something. That type of stuff people ooh and ah over just seeing a hot metal being bent or twisted or punched. It doesn't even have to be a project. No. So keep it simple when it comes to that, and things that you can do well within your skill abilities, and you'll do just fine. And then let us know. Report back to us and let us know how your first one went. I bet you it's going to be awesome.
Susan Ellis, no, we did not intentionally both wear black shirts. I think I had mine on first. But
yeah. Let's see what they say. For the honor. Dude, I think I know what is looks like.
Don't razz them on.
I had an image pop into my mind. You may never know. Never know.
Tie a knot. Everybody loves that. Yep.
Tim Rollins. They love that. Everyone does as a crowd. Like, hey, y'all want to see me tie a knot in a bar? And people are like, this guy, he's some sort of magician. And they walk up and you tie a knot. Oh, that's cool. And you get hand claps. And it's like...
If you drift a hole in it, you can sell it as a keychain to one of the...
Yeah, then you just punch a little hole in the end and you sell it as a keychain. They're like, oh, I got that, and so it's cool.
Rubik's twist demo really well if you have pre-cut pieces.
Yep, true. Yeah, and twist. People love twist. They love seeing the scale flake off and a bar being manipulated. People think blacksmithing as manipulating iron. So if you do that, you don't have to be the most sharp tool in the shed when it comes to it. You don't have to have the best looking items and things on the table. People are just excited to see a blacksmith. If they're inviting you to it, you're entertainment. So definitely do it. It'll be nerve-wracking, but it's worth it. You'll get your first one under the belt, and then you can add it to the repertoire of things you've done. Yep.
Where is the knot video? Yes, there is one. Knot sculpture. Pretty sure it's called.
Yeah, I think it's called
knot sculpture.
Yeah, I think it's how to forge a knot sculpture. I did a video on that.
If you type in knot and Christ and Works, it'll probably come up.
And if not, hit the playlist section.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've probably done that.
Yeah, we did.
So all right, we're about half over there, ladies and gents. We're gonna get gone for the evening. Thank you all 30 of you, so much for being in the live stream tonight. Thank you so much for showing up. That we really appreciate that. It does help us out. Thank you to all of our supporters, each and every last one of you that watch all of our videos and comment each and every day. We greatly appreciate you.
Yep.
And make sure you set 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Friday night forging live stream. We're going to try to get those faces welded up onto the hammer, and we'll see how far we get. That'll probably be a big night to get that done. But it's going to be a lot of heat, a lot of flame, and a lot of sparks. So that'll be a lot of fun. So anyways, that's going to be it for this evening. God bless each and every last one of you, whether you like it or not. And thank you all once again for being here, and we'll catch you next time. So we'll talk to you all later. Bye.
Bye.